Oh dear, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what to do here. Hold on. Hi Tina, hi, good evening. Give me a few minutes, I need to get set up, everybody. Hi Tina. Goodness, hold on, here we go. Well. Okay, give me a second, folks. I gotta settle in here a little bit. Let me just, oh, little Bubba. Hi, I love you very much, Bubba. You are certainly, you're attracted to the limelight, aren't you? You just love having an audience. That's what it is, isn't it, Bubba? So let's have a look. Good evening. I'm trying to get around. Mama, it's like, hi, Baba. Yeah. Yeah. I know. You want to start a whole new channel just for you, right? Okay. And you want to be the star? Okay. All right. So, what was that? Oh, okay. Yeah. And you want me to do all the translations for you? Okay. It's being very demanding. So, yeah, it's the lighting. It's very difficult because Bubba is a very healthy, happy little cat, and his fur is extremely shiny. And I think it, messes up with the cameras and the lighting. Anyway, he's right in the middle there, and I don't really want to mess with it too much. Good evening, Elizabeth. I hope you're well. I know you've had a lot of storms in California. Good evening, Jennifer. Hi, Tina. Thank you. I saw the little note just there. Hello, Necessary Truth. How are you? Well, let's see how we're doing. Sometimes Bubba gets very sensitive and very needy, and for whatever reason, he just loves to be wherever the action is, just in case something happens that's good for him. Yeah, it's kind of what it is. Like maybe it could be food, maybe some adventure, maybe some cuddles, whatever it is. Could be anything. You just never know. Yes. They're all sweet. There's Boo Boo. Boo Boo is quite shy. In fact, I'd say he's very shy. He's a little bit overweight and kind of clumsy. They're actually brothers. Boo Boo and Bubba are brothers. Okay. Bubba is very light, very sensitive, always alert, and trying to find out what's going on wherever it's going on all the time to see if he's missing anything. Boo Boo is just like, what's going on? Anything for me? Anything I really need? Nah, not really. When's dinner? Oh, when's breakfast? When's lunch? Can I have a few cuddles? I just need a few cuddles. I'm going to explore the house and check in with the other cats, Bubba and Bonnie. But if there's no reason to intervene or anything like that, he's very self-contained. Very self-contained. Very much a gentleman. I call him Mr. Fancy Pants on the side because with his extra weight, there's what they call them skirts, I think, where the skin starts to hang off the front legs and the back legs a little bit. And it forms a little bit of a skirt around the outside upper part of the legs. So he has a little bit of that, and because of the extra weight, I think it leads him to walk in a certain way, which makes him look very fancy. Like if he could get rid of his weight problem, he would probably be one of those, what do you call them, those competition dancers, where they're very, very, elegant on their feet, and they have a partner, and they do all that fancy stuff. He'd be one of those. I also think of him as a little bit of a gangster, because when he wants to, he can be very, very tough. He's got enough overweight where it's very hard for him to just jump around and spring up all over the furniture whenever he wants to. It's just too much weight. He's not quite, but almost double the weight of Bubba. And he's much more muscular. His bones are bigger. His feet are bigger. Everything's bigger. His tummy's bigger. He's got thicker skin. His fur is absolutely beautiful. Bonnie, you've never seen Bonnie. She tends to be very shy, but she is incredibly fluffy. She's jet black, absolutely as black can be, and her fur is very big and long. She's super ultra fluffy, but underneath all that fluff, she's just a little very skinny little ballerina type of girl. And she loves to be chased and have her little massage type treatments, and that's never ending. So Boo Boo and Bonnie are fairly predictable. Bubba is all over the place, and he has quite a strong vocabulary. You have to really pay attention. So anyway, yeah, I hope everyone's well. Apparently there's a big game. Apparently it's a very important sacred ritual for the global elites, and it's called the Super Bowl, and it's happening right now here in sunny Las Vegas. And apparently, according to Love Triber, the tickets are $10,000 a pop. So so you have to have that kind of money just to get in, apparently. Looks like there was some kind of very wealthy billionaire African banker who was on his way to the game, taking a private helicopter with a couple of buddies, and it crashed and they died. Just another in a whole string of really bad aircraft incidents recently. You've probably heard all about them, with the doors falling off and nuts and bolts falling out of the landing gear and out of the wings and out of the motors. Someone else got sucked up into a motor a couple of months ago. Someone's literally got sucked into the engine. I mean, people are getting sloppy, lazy, not doing their day jobs. I'm having a little bit of iced tea. I used to know a lot about the dragon years. Not a good thing. I used to know a lot about the years of the dragon and the horse and the pig and the monkey and all of that stuff for the Chinese astrology and the Chinese years, but I forgot most of it. It was fun for a while, and then I kind of gave up. It was a bit too broad and generic. Oh, excuse me. I'm extremely tired. I think I'm holding up very well. It's just one of those days. Hi, Jennifer. Oh, I just see some notes popping up. You have a pure black cat named Spooky, and he's very strong. Wow, okay. That's important. I think it's really good when cats are very, very strong. My middle daughter's black cat, Sakura, is very chubby, but still very active. Oh, interesting. Well, Boo Boo, over here, Boo Boo can become very animated, and he can like zoom around and fly around and do all the zoomies along with Bubba and Bonnie, but it's a little bit rare, and he has to kind of temper his behavior because he knows deep down that he just can't do the big jumps, and it's very hard for him to come down off of any kind of little chair or cushion or something like that, because then all that enormous weight falls onto his front legs, and sometimes he walks around with a limp or a bad limp if he didn't have a good fall, and he gets a little bit clumsy and he falls around, and basically he's too heavy, and that's all there is to it. And it's very difficult to slim him down. I'm pretty careful with the food and the meals for all of them. But he just holds on to... He's one of those characters, they just hold on to their weight. Hello, Heather, over there in British Columbia. I hope all is good. Oh, boy. So recently I've been Yeah, I don't watch. I don't know anything about sports. The only sports I know about are rowing from when I was a little kid, sailing in little sailboats and small yachts. What else? That's about it. I used to like motorcycle racing. I even had a chance at motorcycle racing myself. Yeah, because I used to be a speed demon when I was very young, and I was a motorcycle freak. Yeah. Yes, Love Triber was telling me that apparently the Super Bowl is a very advanced sacred ritual for the global elites. And there's a lot of hidden messages inside the spectacle itself, the way all the logos are laid out, the way the teams play around, and the guests who show up, the fans, and all the advertising. And I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Yes, little Bonnie is a very strange cat, but they're all strange in their own way. I've had other cats. I had a beautiful cat named Hector. He was also a tuxedo harlequin cat, black and white, very, very handsome little fellow, but he had a broken tail, and he was the runt reject from the family litter, and so I took him on, and turned out to be an extremely clever and sensitive and very, very, very psychically tuned little animal. And after a while, I decided that it's time for him to be initiated into the world of being a real cat instead of being treated like a little wimp leftover runt reject. And so I created a catarium inside my apartment many years ago, and it had big bits of trees and roots and rope netting and shelves and all sorts of things that represented sort of like a wild wilderness jungle space. And I trained this cat, and I trained the cat by pretending I was a cat as well. And it was all well-meaning. Like, I would do all these characteristic behaviors of like fear or excitement or fun or danger or running or chasing or hunting. And so after a few months, he became very acute and aware of his full capacity as a creature. He understood danger, he understood war, he understood self-defense, he understood fun, he understood hunting, he understood cuddling and compassion and rest and everything. And of course we had a very good bond. And eventually I brought him outdoors to the art studio and the craft studio that I also had. And he became very popular with the neighbors and in the little enclave that we had in our little art community. And the things became very bad for me, and I was not able to keep the studio or the apartment, and I became homeless. And the owner of the buildings was a wonderful fellow, and he said, "You know what, I'd love to take on your cat." And I said, "I think that would be an honor, but you have to keep checking in with us over here because we all love Hector and we want to see him have a good life." And so that's what happened. Richard Baum, the owner, took the cat and moved the cat out onto a nice farm about 10 miles out into the countryside. And the cat was in heaven. Hector became a real cat. He lived most of the time outdoors except in winter, and he became indispensable for the farm. You know, looking like he was almost like a security watchdog. But he also took care of pests, and if there were too many rats, he would go and take care of that, and so on. So he was a wonderful creature. And of course I had Peter. Peter was a beautiful tabby big tabby, but I had him when he was a tiny kitten, and I went through a training program, and it was a very different program because he was very urbanized. And so he learned how to deal with cars and people and streets and stairs and furniture and neighbors and all that kind of stuff. He learned very early on, and he learned very quickly to stay away from humans, except myself, and unless there were some people that I would introduce him to, and he would be very careful with other people. So that was good. Yeah. Actually, talking about runts, Ava is the runt. Oh, Ava! Oh, Tina, Ava! Oh, I thought we were talking about cats. Yeah. Ava's the runt as well. Okay, well, I have a lot of respect for runts. They're called runts because, the mother typically, or the father says, I don't want this one. He's too small, too weird. He's got a gimpy leg, or his tail's broken, or his ear doesn't look right or something. And so typically runts are disposed very, very quickly and left to rot or die. And they don't get any milk or food or treatments or care or compassion, and they just wither and die. If you watch enough YouTube channels on pet rescues, you'll understand. But every now and again, the runt will prove themselves to be an amazing creature. You just have to add a little bit of love. Anyway, I want to go to the planets for the moment. I was talking a few weeks ago about this compression of planets. And that kind of happens when the planets start to cluster in one area. And right now they're very, very tightly clustered in Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. I'm going to show you in a minute. So, I mean, this is just a fictional piece of graphic depiction of the planets. So we have, of course, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and little Pluto, okay? And in this fictional depiction of the solar system, they are all conjoined. They're all in conjunction with each other. And I don't think that's ever happened, because I think it would rip the solar system apart. But right now we have, well, let me just go and show you. I'll just go over here. Right now, tonight, we've been building up to it since the Sagittarius season a few months ago. But we've moved on from the Sagittarius stuff and all the lights shining on Neptune, exposing all the treachery and crime and treason. We're now where we have Venus and Mars conjoined in Capricorn. Sometimes that can be very nice, because it's like love equals sex and sex equals love. Passion equals love and love equals passion. Some people are born that way. In other words, if they're having a sexual relationship, it transcribes as love. And if they're having a very loving experience with a person, then it would be natural for them to be sexual with that person. It's like you can't differentiate between the two. So, anyway, we've got, I'll try to do it here on my Astrodoodle. Forget the signs for the moment. We've got Venus, Mars, Pluto, Mercury, Sun, Saturn, Neptune spreading out here, all pretty tight. And the moon, sorry, I forgot the moon. Huh, that's ridiculous. The moon is in Pisces, right over here. Let me just double check to be absolutely sure. Today's the 11th. Yep. So the moon is over here as well. I forgot about that. All right. So you can see what I mean about a compression. It's like having a massive multiple sign stellium, okay? See that? All really tightly compressed in just 2 houses, 2 signs. Well, 3, but Venus, Mars, Pluto, Mercury, Sun, Saturn, Moon, Neptune. So it's like the whole energy field is squashed together and they kind of become a little bit indistinguishable. When I see this green triangle here, what it's telling me is that all the really fraudulent, creepy, nasty, evil stuff that's been exposed over the last few months is enjoying its exposure, knowing that nothing is happening. There's so much harmony here. These are very tight harmony here. Here, 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 here. All this green stuff, it's giving a lot of harmony to the Neptune energy over here. And the way I translate that on the global stage is that the criminals are getting away with it. They're basically getting away with being criminals. And that starts wherever you want to look. At the very top of the government here in America, it's just a criminal organization now. They're getting away with it. They own the whole thing. They own the executive branch of the presidency. They own the legal branch of Congress. And they own the judicial branch of the Supreme Court. And they all work together as one entity to commit heinous, treacherous, devastating crimes on we the people. They're getting away with it. And no matter how much the little Republican, Freedom Caucus may protest over there in Washington, they effectively have relatively little power because of they've been exposed in their own incompetence and fragility and their own compromise. They're heavily compromised. So in other words, the criminals are just getting away with being criminals. You can take that to the cartels and the Mexican cartels that are now all over the country. Every major city is fully infected. That's about 25 cities. You can talk about it with the Chinese sleeper cells. Every country, every state, every city in America, but especially anything to do with military bases and power and infrastructure bases are fully infected with Chinese criminal sleeper cells. Same thing with other enemies who hate America, like the Islamic extremists. They're all over America. They're just doing whatever they want, and they're getting away with it. They're waiting for the perfect moment for them to activate themselves and do their dastardly deeds. Also, of course, the criminals in some of the states, especially over here, the leadership over here and here and here and here and here and here, are heavily corrupted and compromised. They operate as communist dictatorships under the rule of here. And you've probably noticed that their economies are basically imploding. Same thing with Colorado, imploding. They're getting away with it. The criminals are getting away with it. Same thing over here in China. The criminals are getting away with it. The leaders of that country are stealing billions and billions from the people of China. And the people of China are now becoming impoverished. And I think we're heading very close to starvation and massive scale poverty and maybe even death on a very large scale over here. It's the same thing over here in the Middle East wars. Same thing over here in the Russia-Ukraine, Russia-Europe wars. There's a lot of dirty, ugly stuff going on behind the scenes. Everyone has their own interpretation and different storyline, but in the background, behind a lot of it, I see money. I see money because I associate money with power and power with money. And when I've been talking about this for a long time up here with the Capricorn Pluto 29 degrees, it's the energy of desperation. They want more power, control, and money than they've ever had before because enough is never enough. And they're getting it, and they're doing whatever they have to. And in the process, they have exposed themselves as how utterly corrupt and evil they are. And slowly, people are starting to wake up and realize, oh my God, we are literally owned and controlled by a bunch of criminals worldwide. Worldwide, the whole of planet Earth is operated as a criminal enterprise by a handful of elites. And we, the people, are starting to wake up and say, enough is enough is enough. And it's all happening simultaneously. That's the energy over here. The remnants of the global elites doing everything they can very violently and aggressively to hold on to the sweetness of their complete power and control. At the same time, the energy of revolution is lighting up across the world. Pluto in Aquarius, 0. Mercury in Aquarius, about 8. Sun in Aquarius, about, 12 or 14 or something. Revolution, revolution, revolution. We the people are saying enough is enough is enough is enough. So today I've noticed that, as you know, when they have all the farmers all over Europe protesting against the government, they had farmers all over Canada protesting. They got it all over Argentina, and now they're getting it in India. It's really quite something to observe. And the global elites are getting really scared, nervous, anxious, and pissed off, and they're fighting back with some of their most powerful tools, which is financial manipulation of the global markets and manipulation of the global media systems. In other words, censorship of information. There you go. So that's happening. That's happening. That's happening. And all the Pisces stuff over here. Saturn, Moon, and Neptune in the Pisces. So the beautiful thing is that we're starting to see what I consider the energy of divine intervention, the energy of love in the purest sense, starting to emerge and show itself as a force, as an energy, where people who I consider to be, I would call them trustworthy, respectful people that I would like to share some time with, people in leadership positions who I would like to see take more leadership positions, are starting to express themselves in ways to me that resonate with the healing power of love. I know it sounds strange, but that's what I'm sensing. And because at the same time, they are realizing that, like the rest of us, they have witnessed the degree of evil that has been openly expressed and propagated across Earth. The obvious examples in the United States are child sex trafficking and things like that, which is just completely rampant and completely out of control. And of course, all of this is happening on purpose because the global elites have their agenda, and that is to feed their lust for power, money, and control. I use the word lust specifically because the more you have, the more you want. And they just can't help themselves. That's just who they are, how they are, that's how they are, that's the way they are. And they operate like the guy Harari at the World Economic Forum, Alex Soros, George Soros, Bill Gates, and all those nefarious creatures that have now become labeled as global elites and all their buddies. They openly carry themselves without any shame with their, here's an example. John Podesta is now coming back into the limelight in office in work, and he's a well-known pedophile already, but does he get punished? No, he gets rewarded. Give me more kids. I need more little children. I want to play with more little kids. Stuff like that. It's very, very sad, frightening stuff. And that is just a glimpse, a tiny glimpse at the degree of perversion over here. There's the Satanic Temple over in Indiana, I think, and they are still operating. I don't know much about it because I don't want to know too much about it. All I know is that I smell evil. And it has consequences. and it's being held accountable. There's accountability for evil, and it leads to a certain thing, and it mostly leads to destruction. I was the other night. Let me go over here a second. I'll stop rambling in a minute. Hold on. I got a couple of these things I want to share with you, then we can get into a reading, because Tina's booked a reading, okay? Oh, where was I? Forget where was I? I had some notes. Damn it. All right, I'm just going to go over here. I don't know if you heard about this or care about it, but there's a fellow called Tucker Carlson. He's a very popular journalist with the sort of conservative patriot crowd here in America and across the world, okay? So Tucker Carlson has grown astronomically ever since he got booted out of Fox last year, Fox Broadcasting. As you know, the world media system is owned and operated by just a very small handful of people, and they basically write the script that they want to feed to the world, because it's like programming. It's like, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. They use news and stories and movies, in other words, words and pictures, to, mold our impressions, to prepare us for whatever the global elites want. And it's all planned, of course. But anyway, Tucker Carlson thought, you know what, screw that. So he got booted out of Fox, and Fox is one of the big mainstream media things here in America. And they mostly present themselves as sort of conservative types, and the rest of them are more like liberals. But anyway, Fox was a big deal there. I would go to the Fox network so I could watch Tucker. Tucker's gone, so I hardly go to Fox anymore. Tucker has his own domain now, tuckercarlson.com. Anyway, he recently scored a big social media journalism coup. He got an interview with Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, and it sparked outrage in America with the liberals, because they started panicking, thinking, oh my God, we can't stop this guy Tucker. He's going to be sending propaganda all over the world about how evil America is and how awesome Russia and Putin is, and that we need to stop the funding for the Ukraine war and just let the world take a natural course and let the war get over with and be done. Hello, Esther. So anyway, I'm still watching the interview. It's a 2.5 hour long interview, and I'm watching it in segments. To me, it's very interesting. I'm treating it as a sort of a media event where Vladimir Putin gets his chance to spread a bit of his ideology, his theories, his propaganda, his belief systems. And some of it just makes total sense to me. It's just like, it's very, very strange, because in the background, he's actually a despotic communist dictator. He's a thug. He's got a lot of blood on his hands. But, from his point of view, it just kind of makes sense. Anyway, yes, thank you, Esther. God is the one who's in control, okay? What will happen will happen. Que sera, sera. That's French for what will happen will happen. So, I found it very interesting. There's a lot of controversy about what's happening in America right now with the budget, Because inside America, we have this big standoff between freedom and tyranny. The people who want freedom are stating a few simple things. We want honesty, truth, real life governance. We want to close up the borders. We want to sort out our finances. And we want to reconstitute the Constitution, reconstitute the rule of law, and get America into its best version of America. We know it can be done, so there are people trying to do that. I'm particularly kind of on that side. There's the other side, which I see as tyranny, and they are, let's say, operating like a criminal organization, and it's a war. It is an existential war now. It isn't just a bit of talk on the side of the lefties and the talk on the side of the... It is full-on existential war. It's going to affect everybody in the world here on planet Earth, because what happens in America it has a ripple effect across the world. The most powerful weapon that America has is the US dollar. The US dollar is as ugly as it is beautiful. America has enjoyed tremendous privilege because of the US dollar reserve currency and the abandonment of gold and the indoctrination of a fictional fiat system. It's basically a massive, beautifully crafted fraud. And it's worked, but it's reached the end of its life cycle. And everyone else on the planet Earth has realized this is not going to work anymore. And so the United States, for all the good things that we have, a lot of people outside the United States perceive the United States as the source of all evil. And it's understandable. And if you want to go, where does that come from? How does that happen? How did they do it? It kind of doesn't make sense. But it's true. There are a lot of people who hate America, and they can present these powerful arguments. In other words, the CIA is probably controlling the federal government right now. Oh no, the CIA is instigating and fomenting wars across the world right now. Wow. The United States Federal Reserve banking system is juggling the interest rates and the printing of money right now to optimize things for America at the expense of the rest of humanity. That's all happening simultaneously. And all the people who are doing that, they wear suits and they wear ties and they hang out in Washington, having meetings and talking with each other and presenting themselves to the world as if they've got everything in control and they're the most benevolent, kind, caring people, and all they want to do is their jobs. The other side of that story is very, very dark. It's the propagation of evil, the propagation of war, the propagation of printing money to infinity, because all of that stuff feeds into... I'm not going to go into... You could spend hours on it, but it feeds into a global financial, especially an American financial stock market system, particularly the military-industrial complex, which is enormous. There's the Big Five, but outside the Big Five, there's multiple layers of contractors. And on top of the military-industrial complex, there's all the global media and tech complexes. There's all the global food complexes and all the global energy complexes. And they all benefit from this system of coordinated fraud, manipulation of reality by the United States Federal Reserve banking system, United States government, especially the CIA and the communist elites, and the corporate elites who are the faces who represent the entities that I just described. The media, like Google, the YouTubes, the Microsofts, the Facebooks, the Unilever, the Monsantos, the Bayers, all of those stuff, all of those things. They live above us. They are the swarm, and it's the elites of the elites at the very top who benefit from the game that is being played right now. We see it down here. We the people see it as freedom versus tyranny. That's how I see it. That's how I perceive it. And I'm just sharing my opinions with you. Tyranny versus freedom. I'm on the side of freedom. Okay? Some people are on the side of tyranny because they benefit. I learned something the other day from Patrick Humphrey. One of the reasons a lot of the border stuff going on in America is continuing is because it's a massive pig trough, money trough. If you're, let's say, in a sanctuary city and you are a beneficiary of the system and you own a hotel and the government comes knocking on your door and saying you have to rent every room to these new people coming into America. And I kind of go, oh, really? That's evil. That's terrible. I don't want to aid and abet the tyrannists. But that's not what's happening. The hotel owner says, oh, really? How much are you going to pay me for each room? Oh, okay. So right now I'm thinking I can rent out each little room in my little cheap hotel. I can rent it out for $80 to $110 per night. So you know what? Since you're getting money from the federal government, I'm going to charge you $175 a night. And then the desperate local authorities go, yes, of course, fine, however much you want. Just give us the fricking rooms. And so the hotel owner goes, sure, there you are. And so that's spreading all over the country. So that's how the disease expands. That's just one tiny example, okay? Yeah, it's Karen over there in New Zealand. Hey, Karen. You can't really see New Zealand over here. But anyway, I know that in New Zealand you've had a lot of upheavals recently with your politicians. You've got a more conservative guy in there, and there's some of this going on between the local, you know, the ancestral New Zealanders from Scotland and Ireland and England and so on, and then you've got the Maori fellows who also have their impression of how New Zealand should be, and they're kind of going at it a little bit. I noticed that. Print some money and send it to me. All right, so give me a few more minutes. I had a little short list on my rant here, okay? So just bear with me. So let me go back to the chart for a moment. I know it's not going to make any sense to anybody, but just bear with me, okay? When I look at this chart, my spirit goes through its own internal convulsions, and I come up with a bunch of notes. There's all sorts of stuff that's been going on this week because we're still very, very deep into the tipping point with Pluto at 0 and 1 degree. Sun is in Aquarius, Mercury is in Aquarius. So we've had a huge amplification of the call for freedom, and we're seeing it mostly in revolution, where people who live under suppressed conditions are saying enough is enough. So the classic example is China, but it's happening all over the world. I'm going to jump right over to here. Revolution. Even in India, 1.4 billion people in India, and they love to be happy. They're very open, free, democratic people. They have a very, very lively democracy. They are protesting now with the farmers. All over Europe, the farmers are protesting. It's everywhere now. In Germany, France, Italy, Netherlands, Ireland. Where else? I forgot. But it's everywhere. And they're basically saying, screw the global elites. Screw their stupid, demonic policies. Let's get back to nature. Let's do common sense. You can't live without farmers. No one's going to live off bugs. It's not going to happen. No farmers, no food. And they're also getting very, very vocal against the so-called, they call it the climate cult, you know. I just want to mention something about the climate, by the way, because you can understand why the climate cult people go berserk about the climate. But you have to remember that human beings in modern history have only been around about 3,000 years. We actually go back hundreds of thousands of years, but we can't measure a lot of that. So the only things we can measure are recent. Let me go over to this little note here. Here's one thing I noted today. So I'm watching my science videos about the sun weather and the Milankovitch cycles and everything. So this is my little chart of the 11-year solar cycle. Okay? Quiet to active. Quiet to active. Quiet. So when it's quiet, it sends out less radiation and there's fewer coronal mass ejections, there's fewer solar flares, there's fewer proton storms, and so on. So when it's very quiet, the temperatures tend to drop. Okay? Now, the chart looks exaggerated here, but in terms of the solar cycle, we're at the very tippy end of the most recent solar cycle. And what we're noticing is that the sun is extremely active with solar ejections, coronal mass ejections, solar flares, and it's going to increase over the next year or two. It's going to increase as we reach the maximum here. Okay? So there's going to be more incidents of people suffering with heart conditions because of the sun. More situations with some weird, chaotic stuff with satellites and blackouts with, the internet and the electricity systems. It's going to get worse and worse over the next couple of years. And then what typically happens, there's a sudden drop-off as the solar cycle fizzles out and starts the next one. So, we're at this point right now, and it's very easy to track it, so don't get too scared or anything. It's just, this is how things are. It's very predictable. There's other cycles that I wanted to mention. There's the 20,000 year cycle, which is about the tilting of the global axis. I think I've talked about that one before, but very few times. Okay. So what happens is, every 20,000 years, this axis here does a little wobble to this. I know it doesn't look like much. Or maybe it does this. I know it doesn't look like much, but it is enough where, in other words, if you really could speed up time, what you would see happening is this. Okay, and every time it does that, it switches back and forth. And the most obvious example of switching is the Sahara Desert. Every 20,000 years, there's a little 200-year gap where it switches from desert to moist green land. The last time that happened was about 5,000 years ago. And about 6,000 years ago, the desert was green. Now, 6,000 years ago, that was before recorded history, okay? We know about 3,000 years ago, it was much more luscious over here, and Egypt was flourishing. There was a lot of green. And so right now, with the 20,000 year cycle, they can measure it because of trees and tree rings. When they dig into the ground and they cut trees, they can measure the 20,000 year cycle. And where we are right now is we're 5,000 years into it. So we have another 15,000 years between the next wobble. The next wobble is going to go like that. Okay? So it does that every 20,000 years. Okay? For all we know, there won't be any humanity left by the next cycle. So it kind of doesn't matter. Not like any of us are going to notice. But I thought I'd mention it. The next thing that is very, very well documented is the magnetic pole shift. It wobbles, okay? This is the North Pole, as you all know. That's the North Pole right there. Like that. But there's a magnetic pole which is off to the side, and it kind of wobbles like this. So this is another way that the Earth wobbles, okay? And that is shifting dramatically over the last 100 years. And it's going from one side to another. And then, this is the scary part because it's never been documented before. And I can't remember the actual scale of every magnetic pole shift, but it's a regular pattern. And this pole will stay the same, okay? This will stay the same, but the magnetic pole switches. Normally it hovers here to here to here, and then it starts to wobble, and then very quickly, I think over like a 20-30 year period, it goes whoop and flips completely upside down. You still get a north and a south, but the magnetic process has been inverted, and that causes a lot of chaos on the planet in terms of what we call climate and weather. And it becomes very, very difficult, and it can become catastrophic, sort of like a mass extinction type scenario. Again, a lot of this is trackable through Arctic ice and Antarctic ice and Arctic timber over in Russia. And it can be very, very scary. It's a very natural cycle, but it can be very scary. For example, let's say it happens in our lifetime. It can cause so much disruption that we would feel it as, oh, things are getting so hot or so cold or so wet or so dry. So all these different cycles happen simultaneously. That's what's so freaky. There's the one I just mentioned. That's this one. Then there's this magnetic one that does this. Okay? And then there's the solar cycle here. Those are just 3 cycles. There's other cycles. Okay? Don't be scared. It's all natural. Okay, I'll be finished soon. Please bear with me. When I look at the chart here, as you can see, the global financial system is extremely lit up right now. And guess what? It's got a lot of red ink all over it. And the most obvious place is in the Chinese stock market, which is completely imploding, okay? And of course, you know, the big ones, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, Blackstone, and many others have billions, if not trillions of dollars that were invested in China over the last couple of decades. And those stockholders are desperately trying to get their money out before they lose it all. And China is trying to stop that from happening because China is terrified that their country is going to implode as their economy implodes, their stock market implodes, as their whole banking system implodes. So it is desperation. But again, I don't know what to tell you except I told you so. And that's what's happening right now. Global financials. So, and the reason it got so out of whack is because of the fakery, all the fraud and the deception. The original model was created by the United States through the United States Federal Reserve banking system. They are the ultimate perpetrators of fraud. It's the most powerful weapon on earth. It's more destructive than a nuclear bomb. I know nuclear bombs are bad, and they're physical, and it's very obvious. You can destroy a whole country and a city and the land and the animals. But the United States dollar can devastate a whole country without any bullets. Okay? Anyway, they've been getting away with it for 100 years, and the game is over. The rest of the world has figured it out, and they're trying to get away from it. China tried to copy it with the fast, cheap version, and they are now suffering because it hasn't worked. It's failed. Europe copied and failing, and every other country had to copy, and they're failing as well. So what's happening is the global fake financial system is doing this. It's shaking, and eventually it's just going to go. Nobody knows what that's going to look like. But it is going to do a big. Okay? I'm watching China specifically. As China implodes, it's going to have what they call what's the word for it? A deflationary recession. In other words, there's going to be an implosion, a collapse in asset prices, car prices, home prices, industry, wages, jobs, industries, careers, manufacturing. It's all going like this. In a simple translation, that means poverty, mass poverty, almost to the point of extinction. There's going to be hundreds and hundreds of millions of people in China who are going to be thrown into desperate poverty. And I mean desperate. I'm talking about food, water, shelter, absence of food, water, shelter. It's different in America. We're going to have an inflationary recession. In other words, prices are going to keep going up and up and up and up, but our wages and incomes and social services are going to remain stagnant, and our economy is going to remain stagnant. So that translates into another version of poverty. And the same version for America is going to happen to the rest of the world. There are other countries that have already collapsed. The ones that have already collapsed completely are Venezuela, Colombia, part of Argentina, part of Turkey, part of Sri Lanka, multiple countries here in Africa. They've already collapsed, okay? China is on the verge of collapsing, but it's on an enormous scale. It's never happened before in human history. So I'm trying to link the compression here. I talked about the compression very early on. All of this is happening simultaneously. Along with, so we've got Jupiter and Uranus still in Taurus, heavily conflicted over here. So we're seeing a lot of this. We're seeing a lot of things on the physical earth, things like the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the fires, and the weird climate stuff. I'm blaming the planets over here, okay? So with all this scary stuff going on, all this instability, the global elites are doing everything they can to control. And the most powerful tools they have for control are money and communications. Mercury, okay? Over here. Mercury in Aquarius. We the people are saying enough is enough. We want reality. We want freedom. And we don't want globalized communism. Anyway, that's how I'm looking. I like to distill things down into the KISS rule. Keep it simple, silly. Freedom versus tyranny. I'm just telling you, I want freedom. So I'm just disclosing who I am. I'm just sharing that. There's so much scary stuff going on out there. It's indescribable, but I don't want to scare everybody, so I'm just going to shut up now. But I'll put these aside. We got a reading to do for Tina. We can hang out a bit more after that if you want. We'll see how things go. Let's clear the decks here. We're going to do a reading for Tina. Sorry I babbled on for so long, Tina, but I have to get it out of my system. I only have one show per week at this moment. I don't seem to have much more in me. Hold on. All right, so I'm going to get a top up on my iced tea, and I'll be back in just a moment, and then we'll shuffle up and get on with your reading. Okay, Tina? First of all, let me mark it out here. Let's be sure. I'm just going to do some homework, everybody, okay? I'm just doing my homework. Just give me, I'm clicking away behind the scenes here. Let's have a look. Tina, okay. Okay, we got that all organized. I'm just clicking away. Bear with me. Okay. All right. I'm just going to put that there. I'll be right back. Yes, Tina, it's absolutely berserk crazy. Esther's trying to find the donation. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me explain that. All right, Esther, since you asked, that's a good thing to ask. It helps. Let me see here. How can I do this? How am I supposed to do this? I forgot. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's do this. So Esther wants a reading too. So I'll remind everybody, I only ever do any like 2 or 3 at the most anymore these days on the Sunday night shows. Of course, I do private readings during the week. Some of you know that, and it's the same process. Here's what you do. Let's say you're a complete stranger and you thought, what is this weird place, TarotLumination? Who are they? What do they think they're doing? Are they running a cult? Ooh, I don't know. Let's hang out and see what happens. Ooh. Well, if you want to get a reading here tonight, it's the same as getting a big one. So let me show you. First of all, you find another device. You can, for example, if you're watching on a computer or a tablet, you can go to your smartphone or something like that. Or you can open up another tab on your computer and you can go to TarotLumination.com. And this is what it looks like. TarotLumination.com. It's a website and it has several different pages. You click the donate page and it comes up with the donate button. You click the donate button and that comes up with the payment processor. It's just like doing online shopping, you know, at the Amazons and eBays and all of that stuff. And you swipe a card. You put in all that stuff and you can just scroll down on the donate page and you don't even have to have a PayPal account. You don't even have to do that. You can just go to TarotLumination.com, go to the donate page, go to the donate button, press that, open the payment processor, scroll all the way down, select card, and then swipe a card and put your donation in there. Yeah. That's all it is. Thank you for asking, Esther. Just let me know if it works. I'll get you your reading. Don't worry. I'm highly motivated to get you your reading. So don't worry. We'll do Esther first of all. So Tina, take your time. Hang out with the girls, your furry friends. Okay, so there we go. I'm preparing everything for a reading for Esther. Okay, let's go back to the stage here where we can do some work. All right. So this is where the magic happens, folks. That is good tea. Very gentle, but good. So, honestly, you get your best bang for your buck when you do a blind reading. If you have specific issues, that's fine. If you can put it into one word, we can do that. I do that very frequently. It could be anything. If you look at a chart, for example, you could break it up this way, like, oh, I'm having difficulty understanding myself. Oh, I'm having difficulty. What do I need to know about my personal finances? Oh, I'm struggling with how to communicate effectively. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be homeless or not. Oh, I don't know if anybody loves me. I love being a rock star and I want to be better. I need more light. Virgo might be questioning, like, how should I better channel my service energy? Libra, what's happening about relationships? What about my finances invested in the stock market? What about my adventures and travels? And what do I need to learn that I haven't learned yet? Oh, how can I become a more responsible person? Oh, how can I become more of a participant in the community? Is there a role for me? Oh, what is wrong with me? Why is my life such a pile of doo-doo? How come I can't figure out why everything is so sad and miserable, depressing? Okay? So you could just do it that way. You know, each sign, each house has its own theme. But otherwise, I would be more than happy. I love just doing a totally blind reading where it gives you the most scope for the healing power of love, your invisible friends, your angels, your archangels, your guardians, to distill everything down into a little mini reading specific for you at this moment in time. No matter what else is going on, you just basically trust in the system. Trust in the process. Trust in the phenomenon. All right, let's have a look. My cards are well shuffled, but I'm going to do it live in front of you, Esther, so that you are guaranteed a pristine deck. Let's bless this deck. Bless every single card. Bless everybody who's here tonight. Bless all of you and your invisible friends. Remember it really, really helps if you get vocal about it and outwardly speak it out as though you're having a conversation with God. And basically say, listen, please, my dear invisible friends, I may not know all of you personally. Maybe it's my great-great-grandmother or my pet from when I was a little baby. Or maybe it's some invisible friends from previous lifetimes or future lifetimes that I don't even know you personally in this lifetime, but you're still my invisible friend. Please come and hang out with me tonight on TarotLumination's show so we can have a full reading with the support of the divine. In other words, it's not just Esther and TL doing this. We've got the whole of the platform and the cables and the wires, the internet and the card. The cards are a tool, okay? These are a tool. It's like a device, like a divination tool. It allows the healing power of love to flow through us so that you get what is called a tarot reading. There are thousands of channels now on YouTube that do tarot readings and astrology. And I don't really even think about that stuff anymore. Oh, what's this? Okay, so Esther, you're good with a live mini reading. Okay, good. What's it? Tina, I have an interview coming up. Hospice in call. Nights, 7 on 7, off salary position where I get called out or not. 7 on, 7 off. Woo, that's interesting. That looks extremely interesting, Tina. I would love to talk with you about that when you have time. I'm very, very, very intrigued. Extremely intrigued. Wow. Okay, I don't do jumpers and flyers. I don't do reversals on the cards. Okay, Esther, I keep it very, very simple. I use the KISS rule. Okay, we're just going to use the TarotLumination custom-built situational spread. It's just a diagnostic tool that gets us to the heart of the matter, and a little storyline comes out. Oh, don't worry, Tina. We're going to talk about this. We probably won't have to do it tonight. I'd be happy to meet up with you in the week, just you and me. Anyway, let's get on with things. I got a reading for Esther here. All right, I think we're good. So, let's bless this deck, bless every single card, bless the whole channel, bless all the wires, the cameras, the softwares, the monitors, the computers, the cables, the microphones, the lighting, all of that, the decks itself, you know, the artists and the writers and the Waits and the Pamela Coleman Smiths and all of that. Okay, here we go. Thank you, dear invisible friends, for hanging out with us. What kind of messages do we have here for Esther tonight? Esther, as you know, in the readings that we've done together, you have a very well-defined theme of what I call a life well lived. Doesn't mean you have to be multi-billionaire. Doesn't mean you have to be ecstatically happy all the time. It's more to do with that deep inner contentment that comes with internal harmony, internal peace that nobody can steal from you, okay? Yeah, Tina, that would be work. That would be fine. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look here. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things, okay, Esther? Let's have a look at the outside. We're going to look at the influences. Of course, I always go to the planets, but let's see. It could be anything. Let's have a look. So we've got the Six of Cups here. So my feeling is that, Esther, sometimes, to me, this feels very much associated with the really strong Pisces vibes at the moment. For example, tonight, right now, the moon is in Pisces. It just passed the maximum power point of 15 degrees. Saturn is there and Neptune is there. So that's 3. It's not a full stellium, but that's still a lot of Pisces energy. And it's pretty harmonious right now. And what I think... sorry, Tina. I got distracted. I'll get back to you soon, Tina, okay? I'm going to work with Esther here. So my feeling is that, because I have to share this with you, Esther, I'm feeling a very, very strong Pisces influence at the moment. And what I think is going on is that it is the Pisces energy in general, the 12th house energy, the moon, Saturn, Neptune, combined is creating this sort of sensitivity and awareness that it's very obvious that there is another world beyond this one here. Okay, so we got our channel, you've got your house, you've got your town where you live, you've got your people, you've got your world, you've got your history, you've got your future, and so on and so on. But what I'm sensing here with the Six of Cups is that it's kind of really specific. I think this is referring specifically to your own personal invisible friends in terms of like past life energy, where you might feel in your life, in your world right now, a closer connection with the divine than you would normally do on a day-to-day basis. Let's say that you are a very godly person and you believe in a higher being and that there is love and there is God and there is divine intervention, there is the healing power of love, all these beautiful things that are above and beyond our earthly realm. And in that arena, there also exists what I think of as our invisible friends, literally people with whom we've shared our lives in the past. Not even this lifetime, but perhaps in this lifetime, Esther, but maybe people who've already passed on, like maybe your mom or your dad or some relatives or some pets. And what I'm sensing here is that you might be becoming very, very sensitive to your invisible friends more than normal. And that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just what I think of as an awareness. It's like having an increased psychic awareness that there is a beautiful world out there, and your invisible friends love you and you love them. It's not like you hang out with them like we're doing here, or how you do it at the grocery store, or at your house or whatever with your family or whatever. It's more to do with your inner spirit, where you're sensing this. I feel this is a very divine energy, and it represents the highest form of psychic connection with your invisible friends. Now for me, this is kind of like what it's like for me all the time, but I don't look at it that way. I just take it for granted. But sometimes people go through these chapters where they get an awareness like, oh my God, I just had this vivid impression of so-and-so or so-and-so from a past life. And I really, really felt it. I really felt them. Like, it has meaning. It has purpose. You might feel that there is someone from the beyond who is very, very close to you right now, and they love you very much from the other side, as though it would be called, traditionally on this card, like a past life relationship, where love was shared. You shared love with another, and another shared love with you, and you are having a beautiful, serene moment of connection with the divine. In other words, there's you, Esther, in your physical body and your spirit, having a connection with a divine spirit, or one of your invisible friends on the other side. And it's beautiful. Okay, that's what I'm sensing here. And that's outside of you. It's not anything you would control. It's just like a moment in time. And that's the theme right now. So the situation would be, with the Ten of Swords here, it might be like a stark reminder that if there was any kind of treachery, betrayal, deception, theft, crime of the highest order that was ever perpetrated upon you, possibly in a previous lifetime, and it is time to be resolved now, perhaps in forgiveness. I don't know what the cards here are going to show, but it makes me feel as though you're getting sensations about a person, or maybe a group of people, but it feels to me like a specific person from your past, where you're getting a strong sense of connection with them, and there might have been some love, deep love that was shared, but also there might have been some very tragic, let's say, treacherous behavior that has never really been resolved or brought to the surface. And it was devastating when it happened, like in a previous life, okay? And it's obvious, maybe it's becoming obvious to you now that there was a character who is perhaps aware that they might have brought a lot of pain to you, and they've already passed on, and perhaps they're seeking forgiveness. And so this might be uncomfortable for you, like if it's a memory, but we'll see. Let's have a look. What's the problem here? Okay, so I've got the Death card. You don't have to interpret it as death, okay? What I'm sensing with the Death card here is that sometimes it's very, very difficult to understand the phenomenon of death, in that it isn't a finite ending. It's actually a transformation from one form of existence to another form of existence. And it's interesting that Tino has talked about hospice this evening, because I've been around a couple people when they pass, and really it's not the end. I know from very, very vivid personal experience that it's not the end. It's a transformation. It's the phenomenon of going over a threshold that triggers immense fear and terror in most people. Most people who are happy and alive and living a life consciously and deliberately do not want to die, okay? But deep down, we all know that we're going to die. At some point, we are going to die. It doesn't matter how much money you have, if you have a huge bunker in Hawaii, or whether you're a multi-billionaire and you're taking all sorts of pills and you're drinking the blood of children and you're trying to stay alive for 100, 150 to 200 years or forever, you're still going to die. I'm sorry. That's the beauty of this life. It's so that you can be reborn, okay? And the thing about this card in this position is that it can be a struggle for us, you, people in general, to handle the phenomenon of death, because it seems very scary. So it's understandable in this position, but it's not really anything to be frightened of. It's just a transformation. It is a change from where you are right now to where things are going. Now, if you're worried about it, that's where my mind is, okay? Maybe you're concerned about things. Maybe you're starting to think about, my God, what happens at the end of life? What happens at the end of my life? When is the end of my life? Is it something that can be predicted? Am I going to just end up in pain and misery and suffering and then just disappear forever? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And some people worry about that. I don't want to die, but on the other hand, I'm not scared of it because I know there's something beautiful on the other side. It doesn't really worry me, but it's still a deep concern. Biologically, I'm going to do everything I can to avoid dying as long as possible, within reason, okay? But some people, sometimes, like if there's been a death in the family, or if it's something you're worried about, like some people, like right now, it's like, since we all know that death is inevitable, what are we going to do about that? You don't want to have to just sit in pain and stress. What are we going to do about it? I think it's very important to plan for the future. It's like if there's a lot of money, it's important to create a trust. Perhaps you have some loved ones that will inherit from you, or like a house or a car or something. It's important to organize all that stuff before the final moments, okay? And so it becomes a subject. A lot of people don't think about it. When you're young, people don't think about it. But as we get older and older, you start to think, my God, what happens if I die? Oh dear, I didn't organize that. And I've seen what happens when people don't organize their affairs before they die. It can be horrible, horrible, horrible. If a person does not organize their affairs properly, you can leave a trail of misery for the loved ones. There can be betrayals, things can go to probate, and the court takes everything, and there can be fights with inheritance and trusts and property. It just becomes a nightmare. So how are we going to deal with this going forward, okay? Nine of Cups. Okay, so the way I'm looking at this, I'm trying to condense this, Esther. What I'm sensing here is that you are acutely aware of everything that we've just discussed, okay? You sit on the screen, you're not worried, you know it's inevitable, it's going to happen, you're even joking about it, and you're well organized, okay? And there's no fights in store or in line for you. And so in other words, what you are creating here, deliberately creating, is a legacy of happiness. Again, this doesn't surprise me as a reading for you, Esther, because you have certain characteristics of a life well lived. Okay? Even though there might be some really horrible things that have happened or that have to be dealt with down the road or whatever. And yes, it can be scary. It's like it's already built into your, your perspective of life in the world. You already know that there are invisible friends there waiting for you on the other side. So that's wonderful. It's like, you're heading towards a party. It's just like, when's the party? What day is that? When's it going to begin? And you're already organized in advance. So what you're doing is leaving a legacy How do you move forward? To me, it looks like you've already done it. And this is just affirmation from what you're telling us here live, is that you've created a legacy of happiness. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. By taking care of your affairs and doing things properly, you leave a legacy of happiness. Very, very simple. It's very, very simple. And you've already done it. I think all I'm doing here is reflecting back to you that you are simultaneously dealing with some of the scariest things in life, but since you're already aware of it and fully understanding of it, and you know that there's something beautiful waiting for you on the other side, one day, whenever that might happen, you've already sorted it out, and you're happy. The way to go forward is to continue to maintain your own happiness, and that's so incredibly important. Personal happiness. It's almost like one of the most important duties of your lifetime, is to love thyself. Create joy, create happiness in your life in this world. You can't save everybody, but you can do the best thing you can do is love thyself. Take care of yourself as well as possible. Live the life well lived as well as possible. Live by example and leave a legacy. In other words, I, Esther Marsalek, have proven that I can leave a legacy of happiness. The only way that that can happen is by being happy, by choice, by deliberation, from the inside out. And so from the inside, as within, so without. And so that's what I'm sensing here. Okay? So it's kind of a really strange reading, but it makes perfect sense to me as your reader, and I understand it completely. And it seems like you're kind of resonating. Makes total sense. Yeah. I don't want to dwell on the scary stuff. So there's no point. You already know about the worst of the worst things that can happen in life, but you still choose happiness. You go forward unrelentingly towards the inevitable. You go with courage, grace, majesty, power, and conviction, knowing that it's just a journey. It's not the end. Transformation and on to another beautiful world. Okay. Wow, I'm really happy we did this. Thank you, Esther. Really, really. I always seem to have joyful readings with you. Even if there's something scary in it. Anyway, let's move on. We got a reading booked for Tina. Okay, I got to shuffle up here, folks. So give me a moment. Alrighty. Let's shuffle up. Here we go. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're going to read for Tina. And let's...
All I want,
Thank you, Tina. General it will be. All right, let me get set up, organized over here. All right. Oh, are you thirsty, Bubba? What's going on? I think Bubba wants a glass of water. Hold on. I got some water over here. Come on up, Bubba. Here, let me give you a little glass of water. Oh, there you go. It's up here. Bubba just got up from a nap. No, he's too dopey. I don't know what's going to happen. I might have to feed him. We'll see. Okay. So, bear with me, Bubba. I'll have to do a reading. I'll be with you soon. All right, Tina. Let's have a look. Cards are well shuffled. Where was I? Hold on. I forgot to tell you, I love doing this stuff. I love doing these readings for people, and maybe things are going to change down the road. I don't know. A lot of times during the week, I feel very sad that I can't be here every day. It just doesn't seem to be happening or working that way. When you get YouTube consultations, I get these people who write to me, okay, and they are like YouTube channel managers and YouTube channel optimizers, and they look at my channel, they go, man, you've got an awesome channel. Why is it so bad? Why isn't it working? And I go, it's just, and they say, listen, I'm sure there's a way we can fix this. And I tell them, like, okay, are you willing to do me a fix for free and just show me your wonders? And if that works, fine, we're in business. But they don't know how to deal with a previously, they don't know, there's no way to actually overcome an algorithm that is set in a certain way. Like if you have an open channel and an open algorithm and your channel has not been demonized and it's still a young, vital channel and it seems to have a lot of opportunity, but it's not happening because the person doesn't know how to run their channel, then sure, these folks can be, they can work miracles on your channel. But that's not the case here. And so I kind of say, well, thank you very much for the offer. You know, thank you. That's, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, who's this? Kanapriya Gupta. Are you from India? Kanapriya Gupta. You must be from India, right? Huh. Hi, Bubba. Bubba wants lots of cuddles. This is going to be tricky. Bubba's right here. And he wants cuddles. He doesn't like it when I'm distracted by anything that's nothing to do with him. He doesn't like that at all. He likes it when I have 24-hour, 24/7 attention on him. That's what he likes. That's what he loves. Okay? Hello. What should we call you? Because that's a kind of Priya. Welcome, Gupta. What's the time zone in India right now? Hold on. Stay here, Bubba. Just bear with me. See, there's little Bubba. Here's Bubba. But I have to, you know what? I'm going to have to, I can't do the reading I can't do the reading right now, okay? Give me a second. I'm going to have to entertain you folks. I'm going to play a little TarotLumination song, so please hang out, people. It's going to be a TarotLumination song while I take care of Bubba for a few moments. And there's no way out of this. It's just one of those things that has to happen. So bear with me. I'm going to play an old TarotLumination song. Where is it? Oh, where is it? It's called Taste Your Dreams. That's right. Think of it as what they call white reggae. If you can imagine, I have a really awesome Bob Marley original type reggae band in the background. I've got the backup singers, the fabulous bass and the drums and the keyboards and percussion, and they are just tripping out doing the music for the song. So that's up to your imagination, people. I'm just going to play you the song, okay? And it's only a few minutes long, and then I'll get something sorted out for Bubba, and I'll be right back, okay? So hang in, Tina.
If you wish for a simple miracle, if you wish you can have one right away, all you need is some faith, is the will. Ask for it and it will come to you today. I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah, na da 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 da, na da 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 da, na da 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 da, na da 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 da. And if you wish to be in a state of grace, ask for it and it will meet you face to face. And if you wish, if you dare to dream, you will find that it's easier than it seems. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Oh. Na 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 so happy. Yeah, I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, yeah. I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams today.
All right. You know what's interesting tonight is the subject of death. Oh, hello, Canapriya. So, typically what we do, just hang around and watch for a little while, okay, Canapriya? What we do is we do mini readings by donation. I'll just do a quick show for you. Look, this is what people do. TarotLumination.com. You go to the donate page. You click the donate button. It opens the payment processor and people swipe a card. You know, Visa, MasterCard, something like that. And they put in a modest donation. Okay? All right, so let's have a look. Give me a second here. I'm trying to catch up with technical stuff. All right, I'm not seeing that. All right, so give me a second. All right, let's go back to work over here. Okay, Bubba's had his little snack. Cards are well shuffled. We should be able to go straight away. I'm concerned. I'm just checking in on Bubba, make sure he's got his snacks and he's happy. And so far it seems okay. Just thinking about that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. He's such a sweet soul. And he wants the cup of water. He needs his special water. I'm sorry. All right. So don't worry about it. Bubba's just going to hang out with us for the reading. That's all there is to it. All right, so just hang out there, okay, Bubba? That's good. That's perfect. You can stay right there. It's fine. You got a bit of food on your whiskers. Okie doke. That's good. All right, so I'll do a general thing. I don't see any text here at the moment. Somebody said, Tina sent me a text. Okay. Give me a second. Yes, what you're saying, I mean, Tina, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, but, you know, the hospice is a day-to-day thing. It's a work, it's a situation, and we're all going to end up there at some point. And hopefully we have someone like you on call to be able to deal with us, okay? Now remember, Tina, I don't know if you recall or how much we did this in great depth, but there is a certain... how am I going to do this? Okay. So, if I recall, Tina, you come from a particular generation where I think it's the Pluto-Uranus conjunction is very, very strong. Okay? So that, if you put it together in that way, it gives you the gift of having very unique, special, powerful healing gifts where it's most needed. And in some ways, the way I look at it, before we even start your reading, if you want to think of your life as a journey, and everything leads up to this point, let's just say that this and this and this and this and this didn't work out. On the other hand, that's part of the journey. In other words, sorry about the lighting in Bubba. He's highly reflective. So what happens is that it's like living life through a process of elimination. So the will of the individual may not match directly with the will of the heaven. Okay? And the idea to have most happiness and harmony in life is to live according to the will of heaven. But when that does not match the will of the self, that's where there can be conflict. And so getting to a point where you're being interviewed for hospice work, 7 hours on, 7 hours off, paid or not, depending on the situation. Sorry, 7 on, 7 off, paid, whether your services are required or not. Someone has to be on call to deal with that, okay? So you may just be the perfect person because it's a very unique, very specialized job. Very few people want to do it. and it requires immense grace, immense, I don't know what the word for it is, compassion, power, and the ability to handle that in a very, very gentle, graceful way that is appropriate for each unique situation of hospice. So you have that built into you already, okay? And it's actually a very rare conjunction, okay? It only existed for a few years in history. And I think the last time it happened was a couple of thousand, maybe almost 3,000 years ago, where Pluto was conjoined with Uranus in Virgo. That's a lot, okay? That means Pluto was conjoined exactly in line with Uranus right here, and it was in Virgo. Forget the rest of the planets. Just look at Uranus, okay? There's Uranus. Just look at that one, and then look at Pluto. And then you were born at a time where Pluto was conjoined with Uranus in Virgo. That's very much to do with health and healing, very radical, unique, powerful, unusual, extreme, let's say, forces in the world of healing. So, let's extrapolate a little bit. You've got that built into your DNA. What are you going to do with that? We're talking about the impersonal planets, way, way out here, Uranus and Neptune. So, it might have taken you a whole journey of a personal life. You know, these are the personal planets over here. Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Moon, and Sun. So you live through all these personal parts of your life journey, and then you get to the point where it's like now you are fully groomed and ready to be of ultimate service. And I was talking with a very, very dear friend today who is also in healthcare and who deals with people who are terminal. Okay, she doesn't come to the channel. We're just very, very close friends over many years. And she's very, very, very graceful. And she's very gifted at who she is and what she does and how she does it. Because not a lot of people can handle it. But it is it's something that has to be done. And the only people who can do it are people who have, I would say, lived through conditions or circumstances or events that essentially pretty much strip out the ego. It's almost like an egoless situation. It's pure service. It's divinity. So, yeah. And you're saying as sextiles the Sun and Neptune in Scorpio. Again, very powerful healing aspects. So it sounds strange, but it's like your whole life has led to this point where it's possible you may be, let's say, invited in. They may say, you know what, Tina, you're the perfect person for this situation. We've been looking for someone like you for a long time. Thank God you showed up. Okay? So let's get on with the reading now that I've given you a bit of background. I just thought of something else. After this reading, we'll call it quits for the night, and I'm going to play that song that I wrote for my mom when she passed away. And you'll understand when we get there, okay? Cards are well shuffled, so don't worry, folks. Just doing it to the last second so that we are witnesses, okay? Everything okay, Bubba? Yeah? Okay, good. Yeah, we're good. All right, here we go. So what messages do we have? Let me just do this one thing. Give me a second. Be patient, Tina, and everybody. No, I'm not seeing anything like that. Let me just see. I'm just gonna check something here. Bear with me. Technical stuff. Please bear with me. Just chat amongst yourselves, kind of thing. No, we're good. Everything's good. All right. I'm just doing technical stuff to make sure that we're good to keep going. All right. We are good. Cards are well shuffled. We're going to do the TarotLumination situational spread. What kind of messages do we have here tonight for Tina? And let's include the subject of her new opportunity, where she may be taken on as in the field of hospice, 7 hours on, 7 hours off, paid no matter what. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Now, this reading might not be anything to do with what we're talking about here at the moment, but we'll see what happens. Let's have a look. Outside we have the Fool. Okay, to me this is very exciting. This could mean literally entering a whole new world, and it's a kind of an exciting opportunity. It's in a way, it kind of doesn't, to me it's making me feel like it kind of doesn't matter what happens. The important thing is just to live through the journey itself, moment by moment, day by day, living very, very deeply in the present, living in the now. Surrender to the moment, surrender to the now. Understand that things are happening, like Love Triber would say, like if there was really difficult conditions, Love Triber would say, hey Tina, don't forget that this is happening for you, not to you. Okay? Okay. So with the Fool card here, to me it makes me feel as like it's kind of exciting. I'm feeling kind of excited about it because I'm sensing that this is very much to do with the Pisces energy. Simply because you have that powerful thing here we just talked about with Pluto and Uranus in Virgo by birth. So there's a powerful opposition happening to you right now, and that can be very beneficial. Sometimes oppositions are hard to handle, but sometimes they can be very powerful and beneficial. And of course that would trine all your Scorpio stuff as well. So that would be very powerful and beneficial. So let's put a positive spin on this Fool card here and say that this is potentially exciting. This could indicate a whole new world opening up for you. Let's just say, maybe it's something to do with this work job opportunity. Who knows? We'll see in a few minutes. We'll see what's going on. And where does that lead? It would be, I can't describe how, how unique and highly specialized this is, the stuff that we're talking about here tonight, especially what was talking about with Esther, what I've been talking about sharing my stories, and what we're talking about here with you, Tina. Okay? Let's have a look. Here's the situation. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, so we got the Five of Wands here. My feeling is that the situation is that this very recent opportunity that's opening up for you regarding hospice is going to bring out the best in you. It's not necessarily going to be that easy because it's going to obviously have its own challenges, but you're already a very, very seasoned professional in the field of healthcare, caregiving, and nursing. You've seen the worst of the worst, and you've handled it, and you're still going strong, and you're looking to go deeper into it, like at the very, very end of everything for everybody. Somebody's got to do it. And it makes me feel as though this is going to bring out the best in you, better than ever before. I guess we are talking about this job work opportunity, but since jobs and work and opportunities like that have such significance in our day-to-day life, it's different for other people. If you're very young or you're very old, then jobs aren't that important. But you're at the prime where we were talking a while back about that you were looking for work, looking for jobs, looking for opportunities. So to me, this is kind of exciting. And let's stay optimistic. What are the challenges here? Okay, obviously one of the challenges is that it's potentially a very challenging job. But what else? Let's see. What are the challenges? In a way, okay, so to me, with the Four of Wands here, it's almost like it's not even a challenge. It's more like, It sounds, oh gosh, I don't want to say that the future is already written and you're going to get the job or anything like that. But that's how it sort of feels that way. I don't want to gamble or state facts, because I'm not a fortune teller. I'm just a tarot reader, okay? But with the Four of Wands here, it makes me feel like, gosh, this is potentially kind of exciting. This could be very good for Tina. And the question is, how it's not even a problem. It's a non-problem. How are you going to make them? How are you going to make the most of it? How are you going to celebrate and captivate the good fortune? Let's stay optimistic. Let's say things work out. Let's say those folks, they say, you know what, Tina, you're perfect. Let's give it a shot. Here, go for it. We'll give you like a 3 months provisional whatever, and if you still like it, we keep going. If you don't like it, if we don't like you, then move on. But in the meantime, with the Four of Wands, it looks to me like it's like this is something to celebrate, but because you've had to deal with so much tragedy over your life, you've had your own deeply personal, painful issues, and of course you've been dealing with decades of pain and suffering and tragedy of other people's lives. The whole idea of celebrating something might feel almost alien or frightening to you. Like, oh my God. It's almost like, okay, I'm acting now like, oh my God, I'm Tina. It's just like, okay, bear with me, okay, for a moment, Tina. Okay, pretend I'm Tina right now, and let's say things work out, and it's just like, oh my God, they're actually going to hire me? Oh, this is actually going to work. Oh. Wow, this is cool. I can do something. I'm really good at this stuff. Is this for real? Is this actually happening? Is it happening to the point where I could actually celebrate? Oh my God. The reason I'm feeling it this way, Tina, is because we've been working together for years now, and you've had these cascading events of pain on top of pain. Loss and tragedy and suffering on top of it, and despite best efforts, and you keep going forward anyway. And so when you get to a situation where, let's just say something does work out, and it works out in a way that actually is cool, and it's just like, wow, this is fun. A lot of people might not think it's fun, but for you it might be like, oh, I'm in my element. This is so cool. I get paid anyway, regardless. 7 hours, 7 on, 7 off. 7 nights on, 7 nights off, 12-hour shifts. Perfect! Bring it on. And then you go home and look in the mirror like, for real? Maybe I should celebrate. Celebrate, yeah. And this is like, I'm not used to celebrating. You're just used to surviving and getting through to the next step. So that's what I'm feeling. It might be it's like an unusual energy for you. It's not something that you're used to. All right, so how do we deal with this moving forward? Now, let's not enshrine this as fact yet, but let's stay optimistic, okay, Tina? Let's say you get hired and things work out and you're challenged and you're brought into your best. You're in your element, and it's to the point like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I should celebrate. No, I can't celebrate. It's bound to fall apart in the next 10 minutes. No, forget it. let's go forward. Let's have a look. Let's keep going forward. Oh, oh my gosh. Look at this, Tina. You got the Ten of Cups here. Again, let's stay optimistic. I'm not a fortune teller. Let's just stay optimistic. You get to the point where you have every right to celebrate and share your happiness because you're going to be glowing. You're literally going to be glowing. You're going to be in your element. Whatever, limitations you're suffering right now personally, and I think you shared a few of them was here, and you've been through so much, such grueling, let's say, like training and decades to get to this point in life where you finally deserve happiness. In other words, you'll have money, you'll have a new home, and you'll have activity, doing something that you love. Do what you love what you do, and you get paid, and you have a home. Put the two together, you might start wanting to think about I'm just going to call it out, a little housewarming party. Let's put it all together. I don't know when or however, but let's say things work out. You have a housewarming party. Perhaps we could organize something here, like a virtual Zoom party at your place. I would be happy to host that for you, and we could all come over at a designated time and date, and we would have a little celebration for Tina. I mean, why not? You deserve it. You more than anyone deserve this, okay? I'm just saying, I'm just a humble card reader, okay? I'm just calling out the story as I sense it, given our history of working together. You always come out with the best of intentions, but you always deal with a pile of shit, but that chapter is over. My feeling is that you're looking at a new chapter. Revolutionary upheavals and changes in your life, okay? Remember, we just crossed the tipping point. We're crossing the tipping point with Uranus into Aquarius now. So that affects everybody. Anyway, that's my mini reading for you. What do you think? I'd be okay with that. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I could have some iced tea. We could all hang out. Well, I would post it to everybody. I think I have about 30 email addresses remaining from the channel. And, or you could okay. All right, Tina, perhaps we could do it that way and we'd actually have a live. Oh, that would be really cool. Or we can do both. Let's do both, okay? Cheers, Tina. Wow. I want to say congratulations in advance, okay? Congratulations in advance. This is wild. This is exciting, fun. Just freaking go for it. Anyway, I can't handle much more tonight, so I'm going to basically disappear now. Thank you, Tina. I'm going to shuffle all this stuff and tidy up the stage in the workplace after the show. I just want to get out of here right now. I want to hang out with Bubba. I got to sort out a little bit of dinner. And I'm going to play this song, okay? Now, this song is called... there's Necessary Truth, okay? Necessary, you're going to like this. I'm going to play this healing song about crossing over to the other side when I lost my mom. Let's see if I can find it somewhere on my computer. What's it called? I don't even remember the title. It is called... What the hell is it called? La 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 la. Still, but still aware. Ah, there it is. It's called Because I Care. I don't even know my own songs. But here we go. It's actually two songs in one. It's the same song repeated twice. One is the kind of slow, sad version of it. And the other one is like, you know, screw this. Let's move on. Let's party. Let's transition, baby. Transition to the other side. Here we go. Listen to the words, okay?
Let's dissolve our pain and get out of danger. Heal all the wounds and cure all the anger. I'll be the doctor, you be the patient. Here's your medicine, I'll help you take it. No, it doesn't kill you. It makes you stronger, it wipes out the fear and makes you live longer. It's not a lotion, it's no magic potion. It's just a dose of love in the moment. I'll watch you while you're lying there, while your eyes are closed and your heart is bare. Perfectly still, but still aware. And I'm right here because I care, because I care. Holding your hand, I know you can feel me. I'll talk in a whisper, I know you can hear me. When you awaken, when we are conscious, totally healed and cured. Just watch this. No more weeping, no more sadness. Gone is the fighting, gone is the madness. We can choose to become alive, or just disappear, or become survivors. I'll watch you while you're lying there, while your eyes are closed and your heart is bare. Perfectly still, but still aware. And I'm right here because I care, because I care.
Okay, this is the happy part.
We're not gonna let you go down in flames. No, no, no. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna do this right.
This is the hospice party dancing song. Hey, hey!
Dissolve our pain and get out of danger. Heal all the wounds and cure all the anger. I'll be the doctor, you be the patient.
you go, Tina. That's for you. In case you didn't get it all, but maybe you did. Good night, everybody. It's been wonderful. Thank you for sharing your time with me. And we'll do this again. Bye-bye.